All right, ready. So we can start. We have David Henriquez from Ultra Finance. David, and welcome. Everybody, welcome. Have a seat where you can have a seat.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna have a short interview with David, and then we're gonna go into our discussion. We also have Vaughn, the acting CFO from Massy Holdings, coming as well. So welcome, David.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right, so we're streaming live on YouTube. We're trying to get the Twitter up. The Twitter always get problems, always. But
Thank you.
welcome, David. Um, so I'm gonna act like I don't know anything about Ultra. So when you were putting up the Ultra banner a while ago, somebody asked, Ultra, what is Ultra Finance? What is the company about?
So, Ultra Financier is a company that is solely focused on asset-based collateral lending. Um, we cater to high net worth individuals, and the basis behind our company is why should you liquidate the assets that you've spent a long time acquiring because you see an opportunity for an investment to grow, to do whatever you need capital for. Why should you liquidate that asset that you've spent so long to acquire, to
Okay.
access this financing? So
Okay.
you leverage it instead of liquidate it.
And when you say assets, so like me have a Galaxy watch now, not the latest one, but a Galaxy 3. Me can borrow a loan on this watch.
You can, but we'll just have to take into consideration what kind of value we're putting on
Oh,
the
say,
watch, and
what you
so
try saying a nice is a 2,000 me have to get, a 2,000 loan me have to get. All right,
if
okay.
that's what you choose to value your watch at, then that's fine.
All right. So effectively, so you are doing the same thing that other financial institutions are doing, and your parent. However, the type of asset is different. So the assets are usually like what? What type of assets?
So we are accepting a wide range of assets, and I don't think we're going to sit down and state all the assets because you may have
All right.
something
What
that can
don't
bring
you
value.
take? A cow, a horse.
I mean, at the end of the day, if we can put some good value on the horse is resaleable, then that is something that we can look at. Our aim is to be flexible, because we want to be in the space where our high net worth individuals feel comfortable to come to us and say, "This is what I have. How can we make it work?" It's a yes or no, but it's a conversation that we're willing to have.
So okay. So really and truly, what you do is kind of structured finance. No single loan is the same
No single loan
because
is
the
the same.
assets are going to be different.
Exactly.
So I might come with a Porsche, so you pronounce it right. So I might come with a Porsche Cayenne, and the loan that you give me on that is different from a Rolex that I got from my great grandfather.
Exactly. And it all boils down to the fact that we need to put a value on this asset, and then we take it from there. Therefore, once we do that, we can say, all right, we're gonna loan you, a loan to value ratio of X based on the liquidity and the potential liquidity in that asset, or how easy it will be for us to liquidate, I should say. And then we look into what kind of terms will suit you, because at the end of the day, we're here to benefit the customer. Yes, of course we want to make money, but we are here to benefit our customers.
So you keep saying put a value on it. So we know that when you're buying land, you have a valuator. So there's an entire directory of them that you can choose from.
Right.
How do you value a Rolex versus other type, a sterling silver, family heirloom, etc.?
So basically, right now we have partnered with Bijou, and they will be our valuator for jewelry, watches, precious stones, etc. And if it means that we have to find ways to outsource our valuations for things that we are slightly unaccustomed to, we'll make it happen. And I think the interesting part of it is that we're willing to be flexible and we're willing to go above and beyond for our customers.
Do you have a limit to the amount of per loan that you will give to one person?
No. Right now we are operating around the base of 150 million. But if we do see potential to be able to lend more and we have the capital to lend more, we will do so.
All right, coming to the capital part.
Right.
All right, so understanding it now. So I walk into Ultra Financier where you come to me or I come to you.
We can do either. We do
Oh,
have an
okay,
office, so
nice.
you can come to us, but again, we want to make it as accessible for our customers, so we will come to you.
Yeah, man. So if I'm on my estate in St. Elizabeth,
Right.
up in Southfield, you can send somebody to
That's no
the
problem.
business.
No problem.
No problem. All right, you're gonna charge me for it though. All right. So I have a family heirloom. Let's say a painting.
Right.
I say, hey, David, we need to. I need some cash. I need cash flow. I don't want to sell the painting. I know it has value. Tell me how much I can get. So I can support interest payments, but I just need this upfront cash because I expect to get something three,
Right.
4 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
You find a credible valuator to
Right.
say, okay, this painting is worth $30 million. Painting is worth 30 million. You say, hey Simon, I can get 10 million at X% rate, right? Do you keep the painting or do I keep the painting?
No, we will keep the painting. We will store it. We will put everything in place to properly store the painting. I mean, we know with paintings, you have to look at humidity and all these things. We will look into that and have it properly and safely stored for you.
So I guess that the next question after that is, so Ultra has like a vault.
Ultra does have a vault, and we are looking to expand our vault as well. But yes, we do have a vault to keep the necessary belongings safe.
So if I come with my Ford Raptor now, and let's say the terms that I'm getting at a bank isn't,
Right.
let's say Simon, you modify the truck too much. We don't do loans on modified trucks.
Mhm.
I come to you, say, of course I can value that. You take the truck from me as well.
So we have two options in regards to that. We can store your truck for you. I mean, if you have 6 cars, you don't need that truck. We can store it for you. But if needs that you need this truck to continue operating, then we'll put a lien on the truck, have it registered. So yes, you can't go and sell it unless you've cleared up our loan. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we're flexible in terms of that.
Very, very. I realize. How does pricing go? So as it pertains to interest rates, are the high net worth people looking at 30-40% a year, 2% a month?
No, we're looking at a little more than 2% per month. But again, we are looking to be flexible. You know, what asset you bring may play some part in what rate we can give you. But it's a discussion that we're willing to have to try and meet our customers, in some form of middle ground where, we are both beneficial.
And I suspect that you might have clients that have a very large asset base,
Right.
and let's say a $50 million loan that they're looking at. When you look at their entire asset base, it's not much risk to them or to you.
Right.
So their rate may be different from somebody else that's borrowing.
Exactly.
So it's
Exactly.
really based on the conversation.
Right.
Why I understand it well now is that it's similar to what investment banks do in structured finance. It's just, I guess this is how did you guys find this niche? How did this so I know that you were at another company before.
Right.
How did this conversation start about providing financing in this particular niche?
I mean, if you know the chairman, Mr. Kadeen Mears, he thinks outside the box constantly, and he will find ways to expand his company, expand his range, and he had been looking into this for quite some time. There are other similar companies in Europe, in the UK, that have been very successful. And so our aim was not necessarily to copy the model, but to tailor the model to suit our market.
Okay, understood. Now, moving, I guess, on to the capital side now. Has there been any conversation with your board about listing this subsidiary of Dollar? On the
Yeah,
market?
so there are definitely talks. we have some stuff in the works that we're trying to iron out the kinks for. But I mean, we will have to raise some capital to on-lend, so that is in the pipeline very soon.
I guess the question I should have asked before that, leading into that, how large is your loan book now?
So our loan book is a little over 300 million. We're about 320 at the moment, with our collateral valued at about 1.2 billion.
So effectively, out of the total collateral value, you're lending about 25% of that. So there's a good size buffer.
Yeah, there's a good buffer. Obviously, you have some loans that will go out at a 50% loan to value ratio. Some that just based on the ability of certain individuals to have more, they have it as a safety net. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're teetering around right now.
All right, push come to shove. You come to my estate in St. Elizabeth. You value the painting. I take $50 million from you. Something goes wrong with my estate. You have taken some from a lien against the painting.
Yeah. So basically, you have signed promissory notes, etc. That
and you would already have it.
Yeah, I have everything in my hand, and the painting is in my hand. So, I will say to you, Simon, you have another month to get this cleared up, or another month or two. Because of my relationship, I'm giving you an extra month to get things sorted out. But all right, it's no time. I'm going to liquidate, and I will sell your painting for as much as we can get. We will clear. Yeah, I'm not going to give away your painting. I'm going to sell your painting for as much as I can get.
Just pay me back.
Yeah, no. We're not trying to do that, because at the end of the day,
so Ultra is not going to have like a repossessed lot with expensive
selling for cheap. No. So we're going to try and sell for obviously as close to market value as we can, because at the end of the day, we need to cover ourselves. But we're not trying to rob anybody. We're not trying to rob you. So whatever difference is, we will give you back, because at the end of the day, you may just be in a tight spot now. You may be able to come back to us in 6 months, 8 months, and find some way for us to do business again.
All right, let's drift back to list. Well, what can you give us an idea of your profitability, even not necessarily from a dollar perspective, if you don't want to, but from a margin perspective?
I can give a dollar figure now. In our first year, we're still ironing out our little kinks. I would say we're looking to be somewhere in the 20 to 35 million dollar range in profit. So we'll obviously take that quarter by quarter and see how we can continue to grow.
Okay, and is the objective to double the profitability going forward? I know, as I said, the chairman is very aggressive, so
definitely.
Yes. So
definitely.
So you're looking at, if you use that 10 times, a $354 million valuation this year. Next year that moves closer to 800 million to a billion. It's what's your runway to list on the exchange? 2 to 3 years?
I don't know. We haven't put exact dates into plan yet. As I said, we have other things that we're looking at as well. But maybe sooner. Who knows? But the aim is to. We're going to have to raise capital. There's no doubt about it. But
are you leaning to debt or equity? So sell a piece of the company?
No, I don't think. I don't.
Say no, quick no. Okay.
No.
Okay,
no I don't see why we would need to get there at the moment. So we'll see.
Okay. So naturally, a part of your parents' business. So this is dollar. We'll speak to high network clients as well that want cash. I know you are in the automotive space as well, probably more on the high end modified type vehicles. Are you worried about cannibalizing the parents' business, or is there a strict internal line between the two loan?
No, well, we are not in any space going to cannibalize because of the Microcredit Act. That states that dollar will not be able to lend to a certain net worth of individual, which therefore allows.
No man, tell me about that. Yeah.
So the Microcredit Act has now stated that you cannot lend, as a microfinancial institution, you cannot lend to high net worth individuals. above a certain threshold, which will allow Ultra to fit into that space. So Dollar will continue to operate as a microfinancial institution, and whatever high net worth individuals Dollar will no longer be able to lend to because of the
So
Microcredit
they will
Act will
migrate
now
over to
migrate to
Ultra.
Ultra. And the other microfinancial institutions will not be able to lend to those high net worth
They will
individuals, so
naturally
they
have
will
to
have
find
to
somebody
come
to migrate.
and have a chat with
So
the
I can
Ultra
see the
team.
strategy now.
Yeah.
So what is Ultra classified as? So it's not a microfinance company.
No.
Um, is there any? Do you have a regulator?
No. We have been given a no objection from Bank of Jamaica to operate, so we will continue to operate based on that.
Okay,
Right.
so it's safe to say that Ultra is a first mover within this niche.
Yeah.
Are you seeing where your competitors, particularly probably the larger microfinance companies that have the balance sheet to build out their own subsidiaries, looking to possibly go into this niche?
Um, I don't know if any of them are currently planning, but if they weren't, I'd be surprised. But we're here first for a reason, and we're going to continue to grow, and hopefully, I mean, there's obviously space in the market for, more people, but our aim is to try and gobble up as much of that as quickly as possible.
Okay, so when and if anyone enters the market, you're already
We're there.
billions ahead. Okay, understood. I just want to pause to see if there are any quick questions from anyone in the audience here. No worry, I can see you. No questions for Ultra. Dollar. To be fair, the model is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Once you understand it, you
Yeah.
understand it. All right. So, and I guess on the interest rate side, what I'm probably not getting is, all right, do you have a lower bound for rates? So a rate that you won't go below.
Yeah, definitely.
Something you can say or no.
We definitely won't be going below anywhere in the 2.5
Oh, okay.
region, per month. That's not that makes absolutely no sense. But as I say, we're here to work with our customers.
Is your loan structure similar to traditional loans and even microfinance loans where you have an interest portion and you have a loan fee up front that you charge on the
Yeah,
on the value
yeah,
of the
same
asset?
setup.
Okay, and the rate is somewhat similar.
Yeah.
In your discussions since coming to the head of the company, uh, how would you classify the market for this type of products? I know you're going to be biased, because tell me, is it that this company started and high network clients started to call and say, David, look, I've been waiting for this.
So it's it's shocking. I mean, I was obviously coming from a completely different background, and so obviously in starting something new, you have your fear. So we were still building out. We hadn't finalized an office yet, and Kadeen in an interview said that we'd be starting on November 1. So, at that point I was like, oh God, November 1, this is now October 28th or 29th. Like, we really need to get things
It
ready
sounds
in
like
2 days.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And our first loan went out before the 1st of November. So
Nice.
I would say that there is massive space for us to operate. And the calls have been coming in steadily. As I said, we now have an office, but our office is still not even 100% finished, and we've been conducting business, as you've seen.
Where's that office?
So our office is in Barbican Business Center, suite number 15, Barbican
You
Business
looking to
Center.
go Montego Bay?
Yeah, definitely. So we have our VP of sales in Montego Bay.
Oh.
So he will handle that side of the island. He will operate out of the dollar office in Montego Bay. But yeah, definitely. So we're in Montego Bay. We're island wide.
How many employees do you have at the moment?
Currently two, myself and my VP of sales in Montego
Wow.
Bay.
So you're saying already two people are generating about $17 million a head in profit.
Yep.
All right. I hope you're well paid. Anyways, all right. I guess okay, I understand. And he said that the business is effectively island wide because even though it's just the two of you, wherever a client
Yeah,
is and
definitely. We're mobile,
wants you to be,
mobile office.
you're mobile and you get
Yeah, man.
there. Is your process as it pertains to credit adjudication? So just how you actually issue the loan and assess loans similar to your parents,
Yeah,
or
definitely. So we basically use the same credit department as Dollar.
you
We
pay them a
have,
fee though?
yeah,
Okay.
definitely. And then we have members of the team who are, more set to focus on Ultra, just for speed. Um, and so, yeah, the adjudication process is much the same.
That's smart. So instead of hiring staff for the credit process, you already have a parent that is in the credit process. They already
Right.
have a system
Exactly.
that
System is already in
that
place.
that issues credit. So pay them a fee, um, use the staff, and
Exactly.
then keep your company expense light.
Yep.
Okay, I understand. I understand. So I mean, if nobody has any questions for, I think I covered quite a bit, but no, nothing. You're good. You're good. Everybody good. All right. All right. Cool. So David, thanks again. I told you this was going to be short, but
Yeah,
you
man.
do
No,
have to
thank
run.
you.
No, it's a Friday evening.
No, man, we'll be here. We'll be here.
Oh, yeah, man. Let me come to you. Yared. Oh, you have a mic. Sorry. The thing turn up now. One mic we usually have. So
Yeah, in regards to like your position as like first movers in the high net worth lending, considering that Dollar has the Guyana subsidiary, will you also have a ultra, like a similar ultra subsidiary to service the Guyanese market as well?
So we're looking into that. We definitely want to expand. The aim is to obviously go regional first and then worldwide. I mean, we're not trying to limit ourselves at all. So the fact that we are already operating Guyana, that could be a very simple next move for us, since the system is already set up there. But yes, Guyana, and a couple other Caribbean islands. Yeah.
Alright, thank you.
all right. Thanks, Jared. Any other questions from the audience? Thanks. As he said that. So Dollar is in Guyana.
Right.
We've seen where Dollar is setting up Instagram accounts for different subsidiaries across the Caribbean. Uh, when you have stamped out a structure for Jamaica and you kind of fine tuned your business and your team here, and you can focus probably more on strategy, rather than just on the sales side and the build out phase.
Right.
Where is next for Ultra?
We haven't pinpointed exactly where we would like to go first, but the fact that we're already set up in Guyana, definitely. And then a lot of the other Caribbean islands that are, I guess I want to say, on the higher net worth side of things, there's Cayman, there's Bahamas, there's lots of potential in and around the Caribbean. And the
That's
English
actually
speaking Caribbean, I should say,
Yeah,
as well.
that's actually where I was going to go next, because the I guess the income dynamics of Guyana may differ from the Northern Caribbean,
Right.
Cayman, Bahamas. So the business that you might can get from the Northern Caribbean, even though you're already in Guyana,
Exactly.
may be
Yeah,
much
exactly.
larger.
So we don't want to stretch thin, but we want to be very strategic in exactly how we move. So yeah, I mean, those are definitely things that we're going to take into consideration.
All right, excellent. Thanks,
Yeah,
thanks again, David.
no
So,
problem, my pleasure.
guys, thanks for listening in. As I've been sharing on social media and in our communities, we're gonna have these short harbor talks, and then we're going to kind of go into the more round table type of discussion about some of the things that we placed on the flyer. That includes the Mayberry bond, the Barita bond. Let's just call it financial fraud, and I'll implore people to keep this thing is still very very ripe. So just watch how you say what you say. You know, want to get a call from the wrong KC. So yeah, man. So thanks again, David. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure, brother.
Yeah,
My
man.
pleasure.
Alright, so, thank you. Yeah. So I think the first thing we probably want kind of discuss a bit more is the closure of the Mayberry band successfully. So congrats to Mayberry or Moments by Boot, big up yourself. Congrats to Mayberry, but we kind of wanted to get the thoughts around the band offering. We realized that it was one. Let me take a seat. It was 100% filled. So if you applied for a certain amount, you got a certain amount. I wanted to have an understanding of what people think about that. Firstly, anybody applied for it? No? Why? And the band thing and your thing. Say you're more than the stocks. No, no. Jason, no, don't turn the light. Load up the thing, so yeah. So you say more, you say rich people think that KK down. I don't know. I mean, probably it does have a few benefits, particularly for people that want income. Yeah, yeah. But I guess the trade it you bought liquor bit. Why? You want to tell her? The only reason I get is so that me can even hear you.
Um, I wanted to get my feet wet. Like it's something new, one. And when I looked, I had some capital that I knew I wasn't going to use right now, and I figured I can pay less attention than going in and checking a stock price, and if you get
Okay.
what I mean.
So you wanted something that is less
Yeah,
volatile,
yeah,
something that's a bit more stable.
yeah.
All right. You think where do you think? And this is a question that I have, a question that I have set up. Um,
Set
no,
wheel.
because no set up meaning that I've been thinking about it. I clearly don't know the answer, but I want to know people's thoughts. Do you think at trading it will act like an IPO, meaning that it will shoot
Skyrocket.
up and then come back down, or you think at trading it will more be on the downside?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. We were
Yeah, me know.
talking about this, weren't we?
Yeah, me know. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, hi again, Simon.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a lot of information to like max it out, but looking at where interest rates are and like how that would work with the bond prices, I wouldn't expect it to jump and dip. I'd kind of expect it to stay where it is or maybe go down a little bit. That's just me,
Okay.
and it is me guessing. Is a guess.
So if it goes down, you buy. No, not advice. I ask you if because you say you think you might go down a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. They wouldn't be opposed.
I'm sly. All right, all right. I mean, my general feel around it is there are people that it's suitable for. And once those people get it, I think that's generally fine. Any other thoughts? You guys have thoughts on the Mayberry thing? Mayberry bun? We know you have thoughts. Sorry.
Um, yeah. So primarily,
Oh, how we usually start. Sorry, me never do it with you. I can't forget. Is we introduce you, so you can say your first name and what level of investing you think you are at.
my name is Yared, and I would say maybe I'm at the intermediate level of investing. I feel about myself personally. Um, yeah. So the Mayberry bond, I think it's like a first step in the direction of just expanding a part of our market that's not super active right now. So I think any step in the right direction to get more people investing in tradable securities is a good thing in terms of just like the development of our financial market in general.
Okay. Are you? I would even say worried because it's a natural part of the market. So it's nothing to be worried about per se. It's expected to go up and down. I asked him the same thing. At listing, do you expect it to act like an IPO? So
Um,
that is go up, come off a bit, or you expect it to be more on the.
it's hard to say because like I don't have much experience in like
It's the
looking.
first ban IPO, so
No,
they're gonna
no,
be.
just meaning like in terms of the behavior, like the behavior of fixed income instruments in general.
Okay.
So it's like, based on the fact that it was oversubscribed, and I feel like it's very possible that there's still a lot of macroeconomic factors that are affecting everything. So I feel like there is capital, like a lot of capital that needs a safe place to kind of rest, even if it's between things. So for example, if you're like a real estate developer and you are collecting prepayments for your development, you can just go put that, you can go buy some of the bond off of the market and you can get well, the return is then adjusted based on the price that you bought it at because you're getting paid the return based on the face value. So if you buy it at like 15% above where it was above the issue price, that's still like a 9, on the highest tranche, that's still like a 9% return that you can rely on, that is secured. So if you have a bunch of money that you're waiting to do something with, you can just, and say you have $100 million and the bond can take that kind of liquidity. So there's a lot of different classes of investors who I am not familiar with, who I think may have a reason.
But
Have.
you say you're not familiar. Be a trader, you know.
I don't know anybody where building a complex, you see me? So, but I'm saying, but if I had a bunch of money to use or waiting on to do something, cash is a losing position because of inflation. So if I know say the bond can at least shield me from inflation, then I might go into it for a little bit and come out depending on the liquidity after listing.
Okay. All right, all right. I mean, the only thing I'd probably add to that is if you buy it above par, what we're calling, let's say $100. If you list $100, um, then even though the coupon is the same, what we call the yield would be less because you're buying it higher and it amortizes down.
Right.
So the 9% would probably be like 8 point some percent overall.
Well, I was going based on the 12% one.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you
Alright,
buy it
yeah,
at 15% above the issue
then
price,
it will come
then you'll
down
be coming down to like 9%, which is still
above inflation. Well,
meeting
we
inflation,
show
but
inflation,
9.4 from
Oh,
December to December.
okay.
But yeah, but 9% is
You have that right on the top of your head. Whoa, okay.
so 9.4 is like, so 9% is still like way above like what other types,
Savings account and
yeah, above a savings account, above most of the unit trust them, above other bonds. I owned a bond at one point, but it was like 7%, and
Is a banner is a
no, it was a bond, man, a Domrep bond.
no, but then you saying I know people that buy them things there.
What? No, I said
Domrep
I
do?
don't know people that build complexes.
Sorry.
Yeah, so, but then that was at the very, very beginning when I never really understood that, oh yeah, like the 7% in a year thing, it's, I don't have the level of money to where that makes sense for me
Yeah.
personally. If I had Michael Leachin level money, then 7% would look fat to me, but like with my small money, like the 7%, not do it, no.
So your risk appetite is
Extremely high.
well, I was going to say higher, but extreme. But when you, boy, say this is guys. So if you're in our Telegram group, you will know that me and Yared always talk. So what's interesting is that Yared always mentions something more, ask something else. When they say extremely high, meaning that you know that on any given day you can lose your money on the market,
Well,
but it's not likely to happen
people
because you know what you do.
people see it like that, but then there's that kind of polarizing thing that we have, which is the circuit breaker. So I know for a fact that, yeah, it can go bad, but there is a limit per day to how bad it can get, and if it gets really bad, then I should be on top of my money enough to where I can change course if I need to. I research more to manage my risk.
So you use knowledge to manage risk.
Yeah, because I was actually talking to somebody today about it. They were telling me that they're in 5 stocks right now and they want 50% off of all of them. I was like, what? It's extremely difficult for you to correctly call 50% on any stock, let alone 5, within the timeline that he was talking about, which is like 6 months. So I'm saying, and he was saying, you want to diversify to hedge risk, which is like the thing that is commonly said, diversify to hedge risk. But for me, it's like you're increasing risk because you are now exposing yourself to the risk associated with each individual company, and each company has their own risk factors. So you're trying to hedge your risk, but you're going to open yourself up to 5 different companies or 5 different industries. That is the flip side of that argument to me, where if I know one company intimately and I know exactly what is affecting them, then that is a better hedge for my personal investor profile and risk tolerance than for me to go buy 5 stocks.
I've heard that chain of talk before. I won't bash it, to be honest, because certainly, I mean, over the years I've learned to understand better. So I mean, there is a school of thought that says, you put egg in all your egg them in a one basket, and that one company, anything can happen with one company. But I get what you're saying with, if you know one company well enough and intimately enough, the risk that you're taking on may be different from somebody else that doesn't know 5 companies, that just buy 5 companies to diversify without actually thinking about it.
Exactly. And then the next thing that happened to me a couple different times that made me upset was that the company that I had the least amount of money in went up the most. So
If you tweak it,
no, so at one point when I was like in, I guess, my beginner phase, like I did own as much as like 8 or 9 stocks at one point, and then I said, yeah, this is not this is not making sense to me just
Gone up
because,
to like 20 at stock.
or it's like
before.
if or
Yeah,
and
I'll
I mean,
be honest,
and
I'll be honest.
again, like there's reasons to diversify. For example, like with
I
liquid,
wasn't even
with
doing it to diversify, but
oh,
instead
you
of buy
just
stock.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean, everybody has to start somewhere. But
I did.
after a couple times when the stock I had the lowest amount of money in went up the most, I was like, I said to myself, hey, if I did the research correctly and I am reasonably certain that it's going to go up 80% or whatever, 10%, 15%, then why not put all of my money, why not, or not all, but why not put more in there if you have actually done the research, you know what I mean? So like in a way, in an effort to honor the effort I put into researching a company, it's like, you know, sometimes
Realize that you're a policeman, Sorry, man. So you put research on a police.
yeah, I've spent a lot of hours on Palace actually. Yeah, I went to the AGM too in person, live and
So,
direct.
yeah, really.
I was asking questions.
Did you? Oh, some. Alright, so I wasn't at the AGM. I haven't watched it. But Palace.
It wasn't streamed
Why?
because them can't
You'd expect Palace.
them can't afford it, bro. Them can't afford it right now. Them can't afford for live streaming right now. Oh no, I lie. They have not updated their articles of incorporation yet to accommodate hybrid meetings after COVID.
So I think somebody in the group said Palace is top 10. Basically, the shareholders in they have a high average age.
Yeah.
Let me leave it at that.
Couple dead people.
And a few. No, clarify what you mean by copy that. Literally.
The estates of people
Yeah.
who are dead
Yeah.
or who are deceased.
Yeah.
So-
So effectively, it's likely that account is not actively managed by anyone.
Yeah, and I mean, if you can check the reports going back and you see that they haven't added, they haven't sold, they've just had the same amount for years and years and years. So,
But I'm
or you see that, oh, when you start to, because Google is a great tool that I encourage everybody to use. So when you go and you Google X person's name, Jamaica, and you look it up, you say, oh, this lady used to be some employee of Palace and now she's like super old, so she's probably holding on sentimentally, she's probably not going to sell, and then you can kind of
so
start,
far your research about.
brother.
All right, so let me step back then, cause me never do so much research. So my exposure to Palace is probably similar to a lot of people. I watched Bugs Life at Card 5,
Uh-huh.
and that was my first movie. So me give away my age a while ago, right? And I guess over time I've always had sentimental value. So I didn't buy the stock, but I'm always upset that the company never seem to be doing the things that you would expect them to do. And then what made me even more upset is when them go build almost the exact thing in Portmore. So instead of trying to tweak the business model, see what works, see what doesn't work, change up Carb 5, try something new, they didn't. So I'm happy to say you go to the AGM, and I probably should have asked you this in the group. What were some of I guess the things that stood out to you in the AGM? Sorry guys, we're drifting a Palace. Someone be interested in.
You know, my memory kind of foggy, and I think that there was a journalist there who is going to write an article, and the article is going to come out for everybody to read it.
David was there?
David was there, man.
Oh,
so
good then. Alright. So
yeah, but it's like
so I get every word.
like
I get everything.
in terms of what was said, it was all kind of vague and kind of boring, but there was body language and other social cues that I can't really explain to to people.
Good or bad? Or can't really
Interesting.
Interesting.
You know
But
what I
that
mean?
sound good.
No, that's not true.
So okay. Okay, so interesting good then.
Interesting, good to where I'm still trying to see where they're going. You know what I mean? I'm still in.
Okay.
To be transparent. You know what I mean? If that matters to anybody.
So full disclosure.
Yeah.
You're saying he's a
No,
shareholder.
I don't
So
want.
man, I go positive.
I don't want in a few months' time people come tackle me say,
I say,
oh,
yo,
yo,
you
yo,
make them buy.
yo, you pump the stock and Ray and I say, yo, listen now, like.
So
Not the unnecessary disclosure, quote unquote. I am not a licensed financial advisor. I have never worked in the finance industry. Like I did intern at Sagicor one time as a paper pusher. But you see me, like I don't work in the finance industry. I don't do none of that. You see me? So nothing that I say should be taken as yo. I'm gonna go and follow what that guy did, because the amount of risk in this play is why I have spent like many
Many hours
hours
doing your research on it.
research.
And
Yes.
naturally, you talk about something that you research, right? Because you have the information.
I mean, and it's also it's like I have kind of like a competitive streak. So like when we see people and people are talking a question, the thing is like, I have to really be like,
We're
yo,
not gonna
like,
call the specific
no, yeah, yeah, we
username.
not, I mean,
Yeah.
them probably are there on the Sykes, you see me, but you see me. So
Uh, and yeah, so
so it's like I like to be sure that I know what I'm talking about. And also like I welcome questions because it's like when people question your investment
Yo.
strategy, they could be opening your eyes to something that could cost you money. So
Yeah.
a lot of people shy away from criticism and questions, but I don't because I have found that the more
Same.
questions and criticism I take is the more money I make on the market. So it's like, a lot of people are very closed off with them strategy, yo, them don't want to talk about what them I buy, them don't want to talk about what them I sell, and it's just like, yo, you're not gonna, you're putting yourself at risk.
I mean, there's a bias that I can't remember now. It's an emotional bias when it comes on to investing. Probably a bit more on the cognitive side as well, and it speaks to when you kind of in your own head and you do a lot of research on something, and you kind of will the stock to the better.
Confirmation bias.
I'm doing research, So what helps that is when you talk to him and you talk to him and you talk to, and then they say, wait, but did you think about that? You did think about this part, you did think about that part, and it kind of sharpen you. It challenge, which is why I always open myself up for questions. And the truth is that one, I don't do public equities anymore. I haven't done it for a while. So when I talk to people like you and people like you and in the group, me get a lot of information about stocks that I don't actively watch, like Palace.
Yeah.
That I would not have had before. But
I mean, like I was actively watching Palace until the thing happened. Like, meaning like there was a point in time, like maybe like October, November, when I was having a conversation
you
with.
get this from several hundred.
No, 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 no. I wasn't that lucky, no.
Oh,
But I won't share exactly what my average price is here, but I'm up by a lot.
okay, all right, cool.
But what was I saying? Yeah, so like from like October, November, I was like doing a thing where I was looking into the boring stocks on the market, and I was just taking a look. I was just skimming financials, just like, yo, what's their share capital, what's their history of corporate actions and thing, and I say, yo, how Palace just big and boring. So if me did own Palace, what me would I do? And then like from October, November, I kind of said, yeah, if I did own Palace, say I'd split the stock, I'd do X, I'd do Y, I'd do Z. And then December 12, when the announcement came out, say, hey, we're going to consider the board meeting to consider the split, I was like, ratted.
I guess you look at it at the right time, because
At time,
I've
no.
spoken to people that own Palace, even here at Stocks on the Rocks, over the years, where it's like them come across it, they buy up a lot and them expect something to happen. It's like something for change, and for a good while, nothing really changed. So I guess that was an opportune time for that.
Yeah, and again, like, taking a look at the position that the company is in, I'm saying, yo, says, them kind of in a bad position. So I say, yo, like, how are they going to get themselves out of this? Do I need to know exactly how they're going to do it for me to make the logical conclusion that something have to happen? Because, like, if you make a move at the same time when everybody else find out, then you're going to make the same gains as everybody else when them find out. So you have to take on some more risk. Not have to, but if you want to make X gain, you have to take on a higher level of risk than other people and bet before them.
You see, me now, my thing is on so I probably talk about my investments specifically within a circle. But my general strategy, I saw somebody ask me, and I've said it a couple of times. I'm not a trader. I don't consider myself a trader.
You value
I
averaging.
I can do it. I buy value. I've started to concentrate more. Not in this, but in terms of
So-
my holdings. But I will have a portfolio that I actively trade.
Yeah.
But when I say actively, it changes, because sometimes, for example, early last year, I was doing it actively, daily, weekly, and then over the rest of the year, monthly or so. So it really changes for me.
Yeah. So I actually want to ask you. So like you say you do like value averaging or you invest for value? What
Sometimes.
is your personal concept of value?
So kind of like what you said. How I tend to start. So the market has a lot of stocks. How I tend to start is I want to, and I'm happy that you mentioned, looking at something that nobody else is looking for. I always tell people that I like to be at the party early, and I like to leave early as well. So as soon as something nice start, so like if I, what, I'm not gonna say that because I don't want people to say me influence them, but
No, yeah, 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 you have to be mindful of
yeah, yeah.
your
So
position,
so there
isn't
are
me?
certain things me don't say. But I like to leave the party early. So me leave it at that. So if noise I make about a stock, I probably already sell it right in the noise and I move on. So my particular thing, as it pertains to the strategy, you say, and looking at value. So so a few companies, a few brokers have what we call stock sheets. So they'll have all the stocks on it, your price, your last traded price, your PE, PD, ROE, things like that. I start there, right? That's the truth. So I look at which stocks stand out. So stand out can mean high PE or low PE. So I look at what stands out, look at what ROE stands out to me, and I'll choose a subset of stocks, right? And then I look more into that because clearly me not have enough time to look on the financials of every single company on the market.
Which goes back to what I was saying previously about like not diversifying unless you need to, because for me, like, I don't buy a stock unless I do the research already. So it's like, for me to do the level of research I'm comfortable with on 5 stocks, like, I don't have time. I don't have time for that, you know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like, I don't know everything about every company. I know my company. I know the company where me have money in, and that's really it. Sometimes people come to me and say, yo, what you think about this company? I was like, yo,
Hmm.
say, I've actually never looked at them.
Yeah, yeah. So no, but me say that I mean I've even been on programs where people say, yeah man, Simon, what you think about, for example, purity? I mean it's like, oh, I gotta be honest, I haven't looked on purity in 2 years,
Boy,
so I
I
don't.
go rock the boat a little bit. Some people ask them advisor what them think about of a stock, and the advisor say, oh, say, I'm not really active on the market like that.
Well, what I always tell people is, as it pertains to their advisors, um, and we have a few advisors here, not look for nobody, right?
No, but like, no,
but
no,
but
it's a challenge, bro. Like,
the advisor is important for you, and don't, if you go to a broker and you're speaking to an advisor that you're not satisfied with, you don't have to stay with that person.
well, for me, where me reach right now, satisfaction for me means how fast you can get the transfer done, or how fast you can fund,
Okay,
or how fast you
so
can.
you do your own research and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you
I
make
don't.
them do the
Ever since,
administrative
yeah,
part of it.
ever since I took a massive loss on Carib Cement, I completely just stopped talking to my advisor, just
Advisor
because.
tell you to buy
No,
car
not
cement.
buy Carib, but like when it was going down and I was saying, yo, XYZ is happening, like, him did give me the same like hand wave about, oh, short term volatility and long term and thing and thing. And I'm saying, yeah, bro, but like, I'm 30% down on my money right now, like, you know what I mean? And then, so like, that was before I had conquered like the emotional hurdle. So I sat in my palace, in my not palace, my Carib Cement loss for a long time.
You're loss averse. So
Right, and then, so what changed for me was that in the middle of me sulking about my loss in Carib Cement, SSLVC fly, Spur Tree IPO, Eddie Focal IPO, all of these
so a
things
lot
were
of opportunity cost, a
pass
lot
me
of
to
things.
make back my money. So I say, yo, say like, I can't deal with that broad brush reading from a paper kind of advice no more. And it's like, I've come to find out that that's like par for the course. You know what I mean? Like, there's there's not that many people who, again, like, I'm not in the finance industry myself, but like, in terms of people when we meet or people when we talk to, like, there's not that many advisors that can give you like the proper advice for you to be agile on the market. And I don't feel like it's an unreasonable expectation.
My general thing is, like any professional, there are some doctors that I never go to. There are some economists that I'll never speak to them about economics. And similar to that with advisors, if you realize that your advisor is not serving you in the way that you want, You move on to another advisor. Um, uh,
Or
mm,
or
mhm.
you get better at it.
Oh,
You see me? That
of course, you can, but not everybody has the probably I'd say time and bandwidth to dedicate to actually going out there and doing all research. So, for example, a surgeon that I spoke to, and boy, the people them in the medical field really them work. So, this guy, the surgery is almost for half of the week. For the other half, he might walk the hospital. Different, what they call it, consultant or
yeah.
something like that. And it's not one hospital. It's like um, western and the eastern and middle of the island, Middlesex or so, right? So he's like, yo, man, have cash, cause I wanna make money. But cash at the bank, he never even stopped. After like 15, 20 years in it, he's never even stopped to think about what to do with with his money to invest or anything like that. So him, of course, he can dedicate his time because there are people that do it, but the amount of time where him can dedicate to it would be less. But I always advocate as well. You're right. Always at least understand at a basic level how your money is being moved.
Yeah, like if you were lending money to somebody and them tell you and you ask them, yo, how am I gonna get back my money? And them gonna tell you, oh, don't worry, man. You know, it, you, you
It's
know,
like conversation.
I got it, man. That's not how you would lend somebody money. So I look at investing in like a similar way, where it's like, yo, like I'm putting my money somewhere and I'm expecting a certain performance out of it. And so it's like, again, I'm anti non-performance. So if
So when they not perform, I cut them.
yeah, or just
But me see that money behind here, I agree and I disagree with the whole heap of things. More bring me in. Doc,
yeah, man, your time.
Wow, good night, good night. I just passing through. What's up,
yeah,
Simon?
man, you're good, you're good.
Yeah, man, how you doing?
Oh, so I guess you ready. May I come back, But do doctors have enough time to invest?
Uh, that's a good question. I would say there's levels to it. I would say, oh, sorry. It depends on the time. Cause all right, I would say like a dermatologist. Not
Yeah,
hoping
try
no
so.
dermatologists are out here, but it's not the same lifestyle as you say a surgeon, right? And it depends on how many different like clinics they would
So
have
it's
and
like
so
a
on.
dentist.
Yeah,
Yo, I go
well,
to the dentist one time and
dentists make money still.
yo, the man.
I should have
alright,
done
so
dentistry.
Clearly, this a dentistry though.
No, I did.
Oh,
I'm a
come just
doctor.
like I
That's
say, yo, you're
unfortunate.
good enough.
Yeah.
Yo, like I don't. Clearly, he's like whatever you call chief dentist or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was in the chair. You have the assistant setting up everything. Them set up everything down to the liquor scissors. Them.
Yeah.
So everything set up. I'm good, and them just walk in and hold out the hand, and them just put on the gloves and just do him work.
Yeah.
And take it off and just walk out. Me, it's like, yo, this efficient.
Quite efficient. You can turn over so many patients.
This is efficient, and then the amount of them charge.
Dentistry is very expensive.
Guys, when you go med school, like, is there an assessment? This is the route to make the most money with the least stress.
No, not so. That's the thing with medicine and why my
Oh,
brother
rich
Preston is
medicine,
here.
but yeah, more here.
No, but that's why we talk a lot of finance to healthcare workers because no finance is really taught. Like we don't
No.
even have any. There's no budgeting courses, nothing like that.
I'm here
There's
to say certain benefits.
Yeah, we
doctors,
don't.
medical doctors don't have.
People ask me if I had insurance. We don't have insurance. We don't have
Oh,
pensions.
you must work in the. Right, it's never made sense to me, but alright, go on.
Yeah, but that's why I invest now, cause I have to tell people, yo, honestly, your pension is really your portfolio at this point. Like if you really don't have a pension, you might as well start investing, cause you can make a little. You need to be able to can rely on some funds at the end of the
Is
day.
it the I don't mean to be offensive. Is it the numbers that scare them
The doctors?
the doctors away? Like them must say, yo, me don't know if me can understand all of that.
Boy, I wish I knew what exactly it was. There is an aversion to it.
Yeah.
I would say, when some people are more like science. Yeah, maybe it might be the numbers, because it might just be how their brain is wired, and they see all the numbers and they're like, a bit too much and I have to do this calculation and so on.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
a part of it is really just ignorance. That's why I like Stocks on the Rocks. You guys reach a lot of people. Trust
Yeah.
me, like a
And
lot of people.
and which is why I want to open up the floor, guys. If you have any questions about anything, if yeah man, thanks. If you have any questions about anything, I want to bring in home choice. So no worry, I'm not gonna put him up on the spot for the interview or anything. Well, I told Ali that it's just a brief chat, just invite out the family and thing, and we're good. But I know that Home Choice has made it public, right? That you are looking to possibly in the future go on the market, right? And I know that you guys have spent years building the business, mommy, quite literally from scratch.
Yeah.
I want to kind of bring you in the conversation here. So he was talking about the medicine side, but I want to talk about from the business side, and particularly, how your faith might affect that. How do you generally approach investments from on the business side, and if you want to speak about it personally, only if you want to speak about it personally.
I actually came here tonight for a personal investment. I met Randy last night at the Pegasus, and he invited us here. And so I actually came for a personal
All right.
investment.
So
I came to
you're
just
here to hear more.
yes.
All right. Since you have the mic, um, is there any change? Is there any change to the timeline that you would have already communicated?
Okay, for
I know you spoke about
so
that
we
already.
planned for January 2024. We had planned for December 20 this year, but we're hoping January 24 for listing. God,
Business
God
is
willing.
good.
Good. Business is better.
All right.
Can't be better.
I told Ali that Vaughn, the acting CFO of Massy, is going to be here, and I'm going to tell Vaughn that Vaughn, you need to triple the business. Whatever business you're doing with Home Choice, you need to triple the contract, right? Because
Yeah.
this is a small Jamaican-owned business, and we want to ensure that this
Woman owned. Well,
woman-owned as well.
don't forget that.
We want to ensure that the business grows as big as possible. So thanks,
Yeah, man. Thank
to
you.
the family for coming out.
Thank you.
Man. Yeah, Simon, can you just repeat the question about what we did to grow the business initially? Can you just repeat the question that you asked?
Yeah, so I wanted to get a better so there may be entrepreneurs here are as well, or
Right.
people that want to be entrepreneurs. We would have recently launched Pitch Deck, so I know a few of the people that have applied for Pitch Deck for that grant through Pitch Deck for funding. A serious problem that we have is actually access to capital to actually
Right.
start the business. So I want to get a better understanding of how Home Choice has approached actually getting capital to grow from here to here to here to here.
Right. So, as a Muslim-owned business, right? We don't take loans from the bank. So, yeah. So, as a Muslim-owned business, we don't take interest-bearing loans from the bank, right? So that wasn't an option for us. So how my mom she did all the sweat. She walked and sell the pepper shrimp that everyone knows. So she started it herself, started to walk. Then her family started to see the value. Then she borrowed from family, friends. When that money flipped, then she gives them a percentage of that. So the money that she got, it wasn't an investment, it wasn't a loan, it was more of a investment into
Okay.
whatever she's purchasing rather
Okay.
than a loan, because as I said, we don't pay interest, we don't pay or receive interest. Now, just to fast forward to where we are now, we wanted to make some bigger plans to go IPO, but in order to do that, we needed a large amount of injection. Hence the reason why we partnered with VM. So
Yeah.
when we go IPO, we could go full-fledged. So as a business who grew from profit and investments from family and friends, we would do our intention is to do wonders with the investments.
Yeah, just to add to that, the sky is the limit. If you don't have the money, you can even bring in an equity partner. For example, for example, you can bring in an advisor and you give him equity if you can't afford to get the equity to get you to the point of the stock market. So that is an avenue that you can look at equity investment.
Okay, thanks for that. Is the market and I'm not aware, so I'm trying to understand better. Is the market locally, the Muslim-owned business market locally large, or how large would you say it? Is there a lot of businesses out there like yours are looking for equity partners?
There is a lot that's coming up, and we are planning to have an investment Islamic finance soon by the end of maybe August, I would say. We're in dialogue with a couple of financial institutions to have Islamic investment. And this it doesn't work like the ordinary bank. It's not compounded interest. It's more like partnership with the lender and the borrower are partners, and they share profit and loss.
Okay,
So
okay.
yes, there is a growing number of Muslims coming in, and there are a lot of investors coming in. Just yesterday, I was at the Pegasus, and there are Muslim investors that are coming here to invest. So that will help us to grow out more equity because these people are also looking for equity investments.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions about personal finance, about investing, about the market? I mean, this is a very good place to ask. We have people, we already there, intermediate, but I don't know say you have the knowledge over there, and so have people here that can answer. So you can just let me know or big up the equity. So we have the CFO here, them release them financials and show everybody say yo, we big too, you know. So we see the very large balance sheet, we see the high level of profitability, and may I look forward to big news, right? And me alone hear that, and him say soon, right? So all right, cool. That's the Equity Capital, one of our sponsors. So I kind of wanted to go into probably asking somebody to tell me, what was their first stock purchase, and what was the reason behind that stock purchase, right? Anybody want to chime in? Both? No, you sure? You're not shy up on YouTube, all right. Anybody want to chime in?
All right. Yeah, I can go ahead. So over the years, I've been doing a lot of businesses personally, right? I've never delved into the stock market. So for me, I invested in, well, I purchased stocks from Dermon APO, right? So that's the first thing I did, because I got an insight on Dermon plans and what they plan to do. However,
Public
being
insight.
yes, public, all right. Um, Yeah, so afterwards, then I realized that, oh no, you don't invest in APO. That's what I got. So if you could shed some light on that, in able to assist myself and other persons.
Always end up I talk about this. Yo, Kevin, me tell you, Kevin. No matter how much me try avoid the APO versus right issue thing, if me go up on a space for something else, yes, Simon, what's about the APO thing though? So I mean, I think my position has been um, so firstly, the APO effect has been explained to me a few times in a few different ways. There are aspects of it that I agree with, right? And a lot of it is very straightforward. Outside of at a very basic level, it creates a lot of supply in the market, and prices are demand and supply. I guess my challenge with saying no to APO is that it's usually there's usually a very fine print that says except Barita, right? So for full disclosure, I work at Barita. So clear and Barita did detail. So they're man. So well, me specifically, I was on that team. So there are certain things I absolutely can't say. So I only I go speak generally. So I'm just to make everybody know, I deliberately I speak very generally about this. I think the issue around APO or not really comes down to how you make a decision about any investment decision. When you approach an investment decision on a route as A or B, you go to A or B based on the road that best suits your financial goals. So if what the company say is saying that they're going to use the money for makes sense, if the mechanism that they're using, and an APO is really just a mechanism, if the mechanism that they're using makes sense, then it's fine. That's fine, right? So I can't. It's like me saying, all right, say no to Audi, right? Because the resale value dropped very. I know you're a country, you're a country, you know. But yeah, it's like me saying that I've never driven one before, right? I need to experience it and kind of know first, and then make my decision based on that. So I can't say outright, oh, if Purity is doing an APO, say no to APO. If NCB is doing an APO, say no to APO, right? What if NCB is doing an APO and they're bringing Stanley, right? Where American Stanley is a global partner that can open them up to a capital market that makes Jamaicans look like a grain of sand.
Alright.
There, so it's always going to come down to the particular transaction, which is why for that the fine print tends to say except Barita, because it is said, I'm not saying it, it is said that how Barita did their our APOs was different from how everybody else did it.
Okay.
And I'm saying it's literally just it comes down to the mechanism. So it's basically say assess an APO based on its merits, and if that doesn't align with you and where you are, and you believe that there's a likelihood that the price will fall because of A, B, C, D, then you make your own investment decision. So Ali, you pull me into the APO thing, man. Yo, if we start up them money, you know, if we start them up, you know, this go on
Yeah, man.
for hours, you know.
Just to let you know, I didn't know this APO IPO thing was a debate thing or
Yeah,
anything
APO
like that,
rights
you know.
issue. Yeah, so
I didn't know.
there's very strong sentiment around the rights issue, as it pertains to participation in the market. So I mean, I'm an investment banker as well, so I guess I can give my side. So if you come to me, you're listed on the market, and you say, Simon, let's just say the conversation starts at, and it's not far fetched, the conversation starts at, Simon, I want to do an APO. It is my job to balance your expectations with the expectations that are in the market, right? So if the market has very strong negative sentiment towards an APO, and there's another way that we can achieve what you want while balancing the needs of the market, then that's fine, right? And if that's a rights issue, then that's fine. That's how I look at it. So it's
Yeah, man.
fluid.
Alright, thanks so much.
Oh, boy. Yeah, so one here, guys, ready. 30 time. Oh, let me go back fast.
So where you moving?
No, me I go back.
So on that note, right, seeing that a client comes to you
Oh, boy.
and they're looking to raise capital, right? Your objective as an investment banker is to raise that capital for the individual, rights issue, APO, whatever. If the job is done, meaning that the capital has been raised and the company has achieved their goal of raising the capital, do you think that they should really, after that, really be concerned firstly of like stock price performance before rights issue or APO discussion? I mean, the job is done, you have completed their job as an ID person, the company has raised their capital. Do you would think that at this point in time?
So one of the things that I think so you're going on a professional side, and they are stocks on the rocks, So so as I said, I'm an investment banker, which is why he give me that question. One of the things that probably separates how we do investment banking from others is that each client is not a transaction. It's not just a transaction to us. So what we tell our clients is what we tell our clients is that when you come to us, you're starting a relationship with us. And the second that we approve something at a certain level of the company, you get the full support of the entire group behind you. So once it is that you said this is what we want to do and we come to an agreement around it, that's it. So if we finish, let's say you want to raise $20 million, we can raise $20 million from you alone. So I cannot easily. So I can always put that on Instagram and say, oh, I raised $20 million for this company, and then the company goes off and trades however it trades. What we do is ensure that we maintain the relationship and the advisory relationship with the client. So from my perspective, value is important, and how a good port all shareholders get value from their investment is through capital gains, right? Of course, there are investors that invest for dividends, etc. But capital gains is usually and can be a very large part of that. So I mean, we don't see Harton no, So I'm asked the question and gone, right? All right. So that would be my answer to that. Anybody have any questions generally about investment? So I like so we start going at the difficult conversations. You have a what them Harton have the mic?
This one works.
Generally for everybody. Yeah.
So it's more me asking your opinion or whoever wants to pitch in. Do you think that the behavior on the Jamaican stock market is rational, generally?
Yeah. Oh, alright, yeah. I mean, me have a very clear answer for that, but yeah, that one, yeah, man.
Alright, so as it relates to being rational or irrational, it all depends on.
I want to say your name and which level of investment you think you are.
I am Jason Williams, non-fundamental investor, right?
Oh.
So, huh?
Alright, go on.
My side, hope so, yeah. So, when it comes to asking us whether somebody is irrational or rational, it doesn't really matter. What really matters in your investment journey is your goal. If my goal is 50% and I think buying Palace at 1,000 will give me that 50%, then I am rational.
All right. Well, I mean, I have a slightly different answer. So the question is, do I think that the market is rational? The Jamaica stock market, investors on the market.
The behavior on the market. So the investors' behavior.
It's kind of a setup question because the nature of any market involves irrationality. Once people are involved, people are innately have rational tendencies and irrational tendencies. So, for example, I I may drive all the way to Clarendon to Murray's to eat curry goat. I'm not going to say that's something I've ever done, but it's something that it has value to me. Somebody might consider that irrational because curry goat sell at the roundabout. Why would I spend thousands as I pick up my drive? Why would I spend thousands of dollars and drive all the way to Clarendon just to have the right type of goat? So I consider and probably it goes to a part of what he's saying. Not the first part.
Alright. So, Simon, I understand what you said, but who is the gatekeeper that decides what is irrational and what is rational?
I think that's the point of me I make. So somebody like me, we consider what I did for go Clarendon. If you like curry goat, you completely understand and you say that's a rational decision. But for a man where only eat pork, the man might say that don't make no sense, that's irrational. So the point of me I make is the nature of I actually don't like when people separate. And no, this is not. I get very passionate when we talk about investing, you know. So we tend to separate markets, the Jamaican market from developed markets like the US, Europe, etc. As if what happens on the Jamaican market is just happens on the Jamaican market. The similar types of movements and things that we talk about and stock price changes and things like that happen on international markets as well. There is irrationality on the US market as well. So I mean I wouldn't that one is straightforward to me. It's both.
Alright, so rationality and irrationality is subjective. So just because I think somebody is irrational doesn't necessarily that they are mean that they are irrational then. So we can agree to that. Alright.
have a mic in your hand.
Wait, so Simon, let me clarify when I say irrational. Like, when you see something in the news come out, when you hear of a company's plans, when you see their financials, oftentimes in Jamaica, we see behavior that we would expect. But also, very often, we might see behavior that we just can't explain. So, we would do our research on a stock and look at it and say, I don't know how this company makes any money. I am not putting my money in it. And the next thing you know, the price is just going up and you miss that opportunity. I was wondering if in Jamaica, we might not have as much automated trading. The market might not be as responsive immediately. Maybe that's it, but I just can't explain some of the behavior I'm seeing. So I'm not saying it doesn't happen in other markets.
So what you try saying plain language, and me know where you try, so me just translate, is that there are stocks that have gone up on the stock exchange that have no reason going up based on certain IDs that have been set, and there are things that happen that you would expect those things to make better stocks go up, but they haven't, and that's not explainable, right? That's
I
what I'm
can't
sure
find anything to explain it, and everybody I talk to agrees with me. I
think
could miss something, sure.
Probably you can give me an example, but I think
yeah,
that
you're putting me on the spot.
yeah, I think that a few of those plays might have explanations.
No, I think I'd like an example. Does Palace come to mind?
That's not the one I was thinking about, but I mean, all right,
And guys, remember we're here if I have a discussion. Somebody have them opinion about how they invest in a particular way. We are going to respect their opinion.
So there's I am not calling the name because how close some of us may be to it, but there's this particular company that, they're digital and they have stuff to do with, creativity. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never call any name.
So without calling any names, right? Sorry, you wanted to go ahead. Without calling any names.
I don't know what company he's talking about. It sounds very creative though. I do not know. Okay. All right. So, you mentioned that the people you talk with don't know why that stock is moving either, right? So could it be that you could try stepping outside your circle and talking to some other persons? Because I think that there are individuals who know why, or maybe they could speculate as to why a stock would be moving. Just because I do not in particular know, or my circle of friends don't know, doesn't mean that stock isn't moving for no particular reason. There could be a reason behind it, but I just don't know what the reason is.
Yeah, which is why I'm voicing it here. I think most of us understand, certain stocks are more creative than others, right? But yeah, it's just that I think some of it too is, people want to jump on the bandwagon, like they see the stock going up and they want to be on it, and eventually.
Momentum, that's
yeah,
a part
so
of
that's some of it, but otherwise I don't know.
I think and he used the word speculation.
Yeah.
Is a part of it. So and probably you're saying it's irrational, and as you probably realize, how me think about investments is fluid, right? I always tell people that I understand the book. I studied the book for a while, still I study it, right? But when it comes on to playing in the market, one, those books weren't written for Jamaica. Matter of fact, they weren't written for any exchange because they're ideal, right? Any market you're looking at, you really have to kind of understand the structure of that market and how it relates to what should happen and shouldn't happen. So I think particularly as it relates to that, it was probably speculation about what that company was about to purchase, and then the odds of that going further on that. And maybe you can confirm without calling any names.
Well, I mean, that sounds very plausible.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. So, I mean, I think, so, I was there before. So, let me explain. So, I work in the, yeah. So, I work in the industry, right? So, a majority of the people that I'm around study finance. They study investments. They study it academically, and they work in the industry um, professionally, and I would say probably a good amount of them don't have any need to trade or watch the market, right? So they do invest, they buy, put it down, they spend a good amount of the time working, they get the money, they get the bonus, they buy something, then put it down, save, buy something, put it down, emergency fund, etc. I think that when you're within a certain space, I think it goes back to what you say, and it's on the other side as well. So I've spoken to traders that are within their own circle, that have their own beliefs and bounce it off each other, and them get very firm and resolute in their beliefs and are unwilling for change. Similar, and funny enough, it's very similar to people that people have classed as, looking at fundamentals, because as somebody that speak to a lot of both very often, almost daily, me actually see the same bias on both sides. And I think when it comes on to investments, you, you really have to think about it fluidly. So a man might want to invest for 100%. You might be comfortable investing for 9, but that doesn't mean that you're wrong and he's right. You are comfortable with your 9% because of your willingness and ability to take on risk. Yared, who was here, I don't know if he's still here, said his risk is extremely his risk appetite is extremely high. So he won't be comfortable with 9%. Right? So you got what I'm saying? You kind of have to be more fluid with how you invest. So, and there are people that invest in certificates of deposits, and repos that make 6-7% a year, and they're perfectly fine with it. They're comfortable. And I'll tell you an example. So I've worked at many brokers. So I can say I worked at a broker where a client came in. They heard about the stock market. They're interested. They bought some stocks. The very next day after they bought the stocks, the price went down. Probably like a couple cents. You know the market move like that. The person called the advisor. What is this? I, I never know. When you invest, the price can go down. Look, I can't take this. You need to make the price go back up. Because, alright, to explain, you have a conversation, XYZ, this is how investments work. It go down by 2 cents, might go up by 4 cents, but it's really, based on your goals and thing. The next day, so, long story short, the person end up a call like 2-3 days in a row. Until they have to bring the person in, kind of sit down and have that conversation with them again. Maybe this is not the investment that is suitable to you. Because there are investments that you can sit on that the price don't move and that you get that consistent income. So yeah, there is a spectrum of investments that are suitable to different people.
So I that creative company, I can tell you, I'm one of the persons that made good money off of it. So
Me too.
big up yourself. So something Simon said is that one of the things I realized with some of these investment groups, they're really echo chambers, right? Just a core group of persons repeating the same thing that whatever their leader is saying, and it's not really healthy from my perspective, right? The other thing is that when it comes to wealth advisors or investment advisors, there are there's a lot of horror stories out there,
Yeah, but doctors as well and nurses.
Okay.
Pastors.
So I'd say nobody is gonna care about your money more than you. So you really have to
Absolutely.
take things into your own hands and do what's needed.
Yeah. I think generally speaking, as it pertains to your own money, absolutely. Always watch your own money. Always ensure that you know exactly what's happening to your money, even if it's at a basic level. As it pertains to wealth advisors, I told somebody a while ago, don't be afraid to change your wealth advisor, whoever they are. Don't be afraid to even move your broker, move your stocks if they're not serving your needs. Naturalist, you have a question? You good?
So, would you say that the stock market is for everybody?
Good question. And probably my answer not gonna be everybody we think. I don't think stocks is for every single person that's out there.
I disagree.
I think there are probably people out there that are not suited to stocks.
All right, my disagreement. There's this popular line I heard, I think early on when I started was, as long as you can go out the shop and come back with the correct change, then you can invest in stocks, right? So, as long as you as a person has never, your mother seen you go shop and you come back with the right change, if you
It's
did
not
go
about
back
knowledge, you know.
with the, no. Trust me, if you can go a shop and come back with the right change, you can invest. If your mother beat you, you come back with the wrong change, then don't invest. Straight up, right? So
But
my
come back
view is
with the
that.
wrong change already. Depends on the reason why you come back with the wrong change.
All right, I'm sorry about that,
'Cause
Simon. I'm sorry
me
about
used to
that.
take a transportation fee from my grandmother, you know. Cause yeah, man, absolutely. No, but with the and me glad so we kind of that's a good question. We can't ignore that there is a very broad spectrum of people with different risk willingness and abilities to take risks. It's and I don't know, and I spoke about echo chambers a while ago, and it's an important point. And what we try to do with SOTR, not always very successful, is to ensure that it is moderated such that different people can share their opinions respectfully. And boy, over the last month, it's been challenging if you're in the group.
Yeah, man, I see
But
it, man, I see it.
yeah, but I mean, people should be able to share their investing opinions, even if it's different and differs from yours. I personally think so. So the nature of equities is that you take on quite literally what you call equity risk, right? And equity risk here, just so that way everybody is on the same page, is the day when you invest your money in equities, even if it's in the best stock, there's no stock that is green every single day. And there are some people that do not want a single dollar of their money to go down. So there are people that, I mean, me literally spend a lot of time talking to people about investments. But there are people that are perfectly comfortable with them savings account. Because when them go in them account, if them see $10 less, them go crazy.
Question about that. Are they aware that they're losing money by keeping it as savings account? You work out the maths for them.
The assumption is that people, everybody don't have the knowledge. There are
Okay.
people that have the knowledge that don't. So there are people that the value that they get from keeping their money mentally. So we spoke about irrationality. So you are saying that you're irrational. No.
No,
But
I never
remember,
said
we
I
were-
never said that.
Well, all right. That was my assumption.
Okay.
People may say it's irrational not to think about the value of inflation, etc., that you're losing. But there are people that are willing to give up that just to ensure that they put on $1,000, and when they go back in their account, they see exactly $1,000. They don't want to take on any more risk outside of that, and them have the knowledge.
You know, by the time them draw the money, that money is no longer $1,000. You know?
Yeah, the value of the money is not $1,000.
Bank
but,
fees.
But the assumption is that them don't know that.
Okay,
But
all right.
they do.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So for me, I consider myself somebody with little to no knowledge in investing at all. And my only knowledge of investing is when I hear the scandals or the debacle with GameStop. For me, who is curious and would like to test the waters, what traits or characteristics would I need to develop to be able to compete in the stock market?
Yes.
Can I answer that one?
Yeah, man. But I want to make one point first.
Got you.
It's unfortunate in the financial industry, and I guess it really goes to the entire economy, that the bad news is compounded infinitely. So something bad happens in a small section, and it becomes, wow, this is investing. But with the good news is not like that. But I mean, I know you don't think that, but I just always think it's unfortunate. You can go ahead.
So yeah, when I started out, things weren't going that well at all. Trust
too.
me. But one of the best things I did, there's somebody in this crowd. He has an investment class called Grow, right? I took that class, and after that class, he didn't pay me to say this, by the way. Full disclosure. full disclosure, he didn't pay me to study. I took that class. After that class, I really started seeing the gains, right? Grower teaches practical investing. Really, if you have the light bill to pay next month, you can make the light bill money.
But he might ask what are the traits that
Traits,
he
all right?
should.
So I'm saying that at that class, you would hear everything you would need to do well in the market.
So he's asking what are the traits for him as a new investor.
Right.
So forget about the assume same now go to class.
All right, assume that then.
Assume.
All right,
So
if you
what are the traits that from your perspective for somebody that has just started that would make them successful?
good traits, keeping track of your money. There's this great tool called My Money JA. You make your trades, you log them on that tool, right? You need to be able to, if you see the stock drop, you need some grit, is what I say. If the stock drop 10%, don't call your advisor. So why the stock drop? Send it out back next day. This is they can't do that, right? Technically, they can't do that.
So,
Have an advisor.
Well, the only advisor I recommend, he's also in the crowd, called Danai Hall, so you could go with him.
so me get Kedan an opportunity, Kedan an opportunity for talk.
Alright, good evening everyone. You sound like you get paid. You know?
I wish.
No, him just love it,
Like
you know.
Eh?
Him just love it.
Alright. To answer the question, I mean in terms of new investors just coming in the market, what I'd advise anyone to do, what I'd really advise anyone to do is really invest in knowledge. You definitely have to put yourself in a position where if you want to manage your money and manage your money well, you have to acquire more knowledge, you have to invest in knowledge, you have to literally put in the time, you have to put the hours in, just to learn about the market, just to understand the market and understand the different factors that really influence and affect the market. The reality is, when you have more knowledge, you put yourself in a better position where you're able to execute and to execute properly. You can make better decisions as it relates to your money. So I would really encourage you to start with knowledge, acquiring more knowledge, building your knowledge base, and that will empower you to make the decisions that you need.
And sorry, me think you finish. No, I was just going to add to that and say, an important part of that knowledge building is ensuring that you understand the very basics of yourself, and an important part of why I said that is you kind of have to be in a position to be able to at least ask the right questions. So let's say you go to any broker, you need a broker to trade. They're going to give you an advisor. The advisor opens the account and say, hey, may I call you naturalist? Look, yeah, I'm sure you're okay with me calling you that. Look, this is what I think you would be best invested in. You kind of have to be at the position where you can say why. All right. How does that work? What is your outlook for that company? What should my entry price be? If we're talking about stocks and those types of securities, what should my exit price be? So those are questions where an advisor that probably is not the right advisor for you might not be in a position to answer. But the truth is that you have to kind of put yourself in a position where you can even ask. So let's say you don't know nothing about, let's pick a random stock. Signals. Happened right this side, that's why I know. Eh? Lasco, which one of them? So let's say Lasco Financial. Let's say you are in a position where you see Lasco Financial, you see things where you like, but you want to understand more, right? Then you can be in a position to say, okay, this is a microfinance business. They have this, they have a camera, they do this. What does this mean for me? How is this going to benefit me? How does this make me money? Right? So that, and of course, investing in knowledge. If you can go to any one of the variety of classes, he wants.
So when you invest in the stocks for a company, how closely would you recommend following the activities and the management of the company, just for how do you say, peace of mind, or personal security knowing that, all right, this company I can see where they are productive. Like, how closely should one follow a company
Yeah,
that you're investing in?
it's a good question. It's a good question. Firstly, me just allow others to speak. Anybody want to take that one?
Yeah, I'll take that one.
All right, cool.
So, how close you should follow a company? It's one of those subjective questions, right? Me, I can buy a company and not check it for weeks. Next month, I have to check it every night, every 5 minutes. So you would do whatever puts your mind at peace, basically.
Yeah, I think that's probably just a short and spicy way to answer it. So and when him say it's subjective, I because of the goals that I have. So let's say in developing your financial goals, hopefully alongside your advisor, you say okay, my target is to invest um, in X company or invest this amount for 2 years. There's something I want to do in 2 years. I want to pay down from a house. I want to do this, and I need this amount of money. So I want to invest for 2 years. Somebody else may invest and say, look, I want to invest to get this return in 2 months. So how you look at the stock, one will be based on your goal, and as he said, it will be based on what you put your mind to peace. So you might not be jumpy and say, oh, me I go sell, sell, sell. But you might, I was telling somebody today on a meeting, you might be the type of person who wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and say, let me just check the financials one more time. Just so you know, ensure say all of the research was done. You might follow up on your price, ensure that you always know if anything changes, and another person might not do that. So it really comes down to you. I think for me, just to talk about me personally, as it pertains to that, I've gotten more comfortable, probably forcefully, with not always knowing like every day what the price is. And a part of that is because I work quite that. Today is a good example. 9:30 when the market opened, I was in the group and a man said ding ding ding, yo, the market open, and pull up my J trade and look and make a one trade too, you know. And I said, this look nice, man. Make a one trade in the morning, come off. By the time I come out of 4 meeting, finish write a report at 3 o'clock. Hours after the market closed, I said, boy, me never get to check on the little trade. If it go through, me did like because I literally just do the trade and come off. Because me the reasonably sure say it about hit. It wasn't a market, but it was a limit. I was reasonably sure. And it did hit. So it's at 3 o'clock me get to check whether the order go through. A lot of people may not have that. I was talking to some high schoolers recently. I don't know if he's here. He's one of the active guys in the group. Matter of fact, I didn't even know he was in high school. The man that talk about investing every day, all day, him there in every group. And he and me I said to him, keep in mind, he's in high school. I said to him, yo, I don't have the time for trade as much as I want to. Because even if you're trading 3-4 stocks, uh, how I am, I want to keep up. And the man is like, what do you mean you don't have the time? Bro, like, there's so many hours in the day, like, what do you mean you don't have the time? And me have to explain to him, say, yo, sometimes meeting starts 7 a.m. and done 7 p.m. And when it done 7 p.m., you know, you sit down in the couch. By the time you touch the TV, so you look up back at 12 o'clock again. And you know, so the man I say, no, what you mean? Maybe, so me I say, yo, I say just trust me upon that one, yeah? You have more time than me. You have more time. I keep you, though. You have more time than me, alright? So it really depends on you.
And for starting out new and you just get an advisor now.
Have you started?
Not yet. But let's say Monday I go advising. What would be some red flags to look out for with these people? I don't want to, meet a snake oil salesman or get somebody giving me bad advice.
Yeah, so I mean, there are a good amount of salespeople in the industry. That's also true. I think you have to have at least a basic idea of what you want. At least a basic idea of what you want, and where you want to see your funds going, investments go. And I think in asking questions that you think the advisor should know to support that based on the feedback that they get. And I think, yeah, or Randy name?
Jason.
Jason,
Not
sorry.
really.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um,
based on what Jason said, he kind of alluded to that. It really depends on the responses that you get as well. Um, yeah, so that's a part of it. But he mentioned a very good point. Ensure that the basic information you understand and you seek that knowledge.
Before I get an advisor, my first step would be first raising my financial literacy and doing as much research
Well,
as possible.
I always tell people one of the hardest parts of investing is starting. Quite literally, just the time on the time we have to spend with the account and get everything done. So opening the account don't mean say on that very first day you buy the stock, right? So of course when you open the account, there is a most brokers, to my knowledge, may naturally assign an advisor to you. So when you go in, for example, and say, oh, I want to invest in equity, they may say, oh, Shelly Ann, you can deal with this client, and Shelly Ann come deal with you. So sometimes you don't have a choice, but of course you go through that process of assessing whether Shelly Ann is the right person for you to speak to. But make sure you understand your money.
Good to know.
You don't have a, yes, sir. All right, big up. Any other? Oh, you did have a response. Yes, sir.
I would wanted to mention, pay attention to the type of account you're opening because, depending on the type, I don't remember the three levels, non-discretion and so forth. Your advisor may have a certain level of control over your account, which is good to know the level of control they have given what's happening in the industry now, right? So I know you're new and you probably don't want to go like full non-discretionary, you're just doing everything by yourself, but just pay close attention to that.
What non-discretionary mean and discretionary,
Uh,
you know.
so let's say like my accounts, I think more 100% are just I handle all of the trades for them. My broker has no input into what they just do as I tell them, right? So that's what I mean by non-discretionary, right?
And they have other accounts that are managed, right? So the broker, the advisor, has you've given them the authority to fill that account. Usually those accounts have requirements too, as to the minimum amount you can have there and that. But it's very important. So when you're filling out that application form, most of the time, I don't want to say every time, it actually should be on the application form, the type of account. It really should be there.
So, could you give me like a rundown of the pros and cons of that, like aside from the obvious assessing why you would want that type
All
of
right.
account?
Pros and cons. So you have a business, right? I realize you come with the jerk seasoning. You've been handing out your jerk seasoning. The man them not touch my jerk seasoning, no. Me left mine beside the computer. So you're serious about your business. Maybe at this point, and I believe we're having the conversation about the guy that sell egg in the group. Maybe at this point, you want to dedicate a lot of time to your particular business. So, I realize you literally hit the road. Like you go up on the road, you get it out, you sell it hand to hand and to this may be related to kind of how you usually started the business. So we can talk about that. Um, I think as it pertains to that part, if you realize that you might not have the amount of time to dedicate at all, and you trust your advisor and broker to make those decisions on your behalf, then that's fine. Of course, as I said, there are minimum requirements. The cons are they don't know you perfectly. So you may leave your account for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, and you go back in the account and you see things that you wouldn't buy, right? So as I said, it's if you do intend to do that, ensure that you are tracking your thing, and I'm sure everybody understand now why it's important to track your thing. I will go far as say electronically. Ensure say you can is a system where you can sign in and see exactly where you have. Don't worry when you go to your broker, they should explain what JTrader is. It's just a platform that you buy and sell. Securities now is more than stocks and yeah. So you should be able to corroborate what price and value the stocks are if you add your account to that. But those are good questions, and look, when you go to your advisor, more you have this conversation with them as well. Have the conversation with them, see where their headspace is, tell them your expectations for your investments. Ask them to sign you up to any list because brokers send out research on what to buy or sell or hold in terms of equities, bonds as well, but equities. So tell them add me to the research list. I want to get all of the emails that you have. I want to read through everything. If you get something where you don't understand, you should be able to go back to your advisor um, or reach out. Some advisors give you their contact, their email, their number, and say, hey, I read your report. I didn't understand this part of it. Can you explain? Things like that. Yeah, man. Thanks. Anybody else had any
I have a question for you,
us?
Simon. I have a question for you, Simon.
For me.
Usually the brokers send out, like their recommendations and such. And personally, I haven't heard any good things from them. Like some person might follow their broker says, stock is a buy, then buy the stock and them in a loss for like 4 or 5 years, etc. So what do you feel about those lists?
The broker list.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to be in research. I think what investors should understand is the list is usually sent out to, I believe, the client list, and the reports tend to be standard, meaning that the expectation from the report is that it is for a particular type of investor there. So I would still say that even if you get a report, whether it's a buy, sell, or hold, you read the report, ensure so you understand it, and if there is something on the report that you disagree with, and you want to challenge, or you don't fully understand, send back an email, call your advisor, and ask them about it. Right?
So you said this is for a particular type of investor, but yet still these emails are sent out to everybody, right? And I don't think most persons reading these know that it's for a particular type of investor. Don't you think that's negligence on the broker's side?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so? Okay.
So and I don't think every sorry.
Oh no, finish up.
You don't have on your shirt today.
No.
The GK 100.
No.
It's still everything good. Everything good. Okay, all right. Go on. Go through.
Yeah. All right. So my.
Me ask again.
Yeah.
All right. Go on.
Yeah. So my question was related to IPOs, right? I know the last IPO we had was not
Apex.
IP, not IP, the
Oh,
one
before
before
that,
that.
Regency.
Yeah, Regency. Is there a time frame in which the shares are allocated or the shareholders are notified?
Usually in the prospectus. Yeah, man, it's there.
Oh.
So they usually give a timeline as to their expectation or when you should get the allotment notice, and I believe, they'll quote me on this, when it should be listed based on a day limit, like X days after that.
Oh, okay.
So if you check the prospectus, it should be there.
Okay, thanks. That's my
I
question.
think that's a requirement.
All right. Can they deviate from that?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, things happen in the process. So just to give an example of the back end, when, let's say, an IPO happens, and as I said, I kind of work in this side, so I have a little knowledge about that part. When an IPO happens, and let's say 14,000 investors invest. Let's say 10,000 investors send all of their money, the 10,000, the 100,000, the 2 million, the 3,935, all of the monies, 10,000 investors send that to a bank account. There's a reconciliation process, right? So they have to reconciliate each thing that they have in the Excel sheet, even though it's electronic now, mostly electronic. They have to reconciliate that with what they have in the banks and ensure that the amount of money that the bank account has match up with the amount of money that they say they have. And then the reconciliation is, I think it's usually done again even on the stock exchange side from a JCSD perspective. That's a Central Securities Depository as well. So there's usually a process. There can be kinks there can be kinks in that process. So that's why sometimes it takes a bit longer for some, and for some it's very quick. I'm trying to remember one of those IPOs. I was wondering how this list so quick, but I can't remember it now.
Ah. Um. All right. My other question is related to the whole news that has been happening in the past couple weeks. All right. So you know the SSL bang the line and them thing there, you know. So my question was in regarding to our yeah. Wait, wait.
Sorry, my lawyer talked to me as soon as I said that. So
Yeah.
repeat that again.
All right. So my question is related to the whole fraudulent activity at those who will not be named, right? So from your perspective, Simon, do you think that will affect our ability to meet our timeline for fulfilling the requirements set out by FATF?
Me I go be honest with you, and you can understand why I would choose my words very carefully when it comes on to this particular issue. It's something that is developed what seems like almost all the necessary stakeholders. I think that the effects are wide reaching, and it is and probably has already affected a lot of things. And I
Makes
mean,
sense.
probably the person here is in some way.
Yeah, because the BOJs now completely
Yeah, the twin.
taking over
Well,
the
not
financial
fully, not
sector.
like completely, because the
Yeah.
FSC will still be doing market conduct, that part of it. So it's just a prudential,
Oh, the
the
regulatory
safety and
aspect.
so the
Yeah.
safety and soundness part of it has gone over to the BOJ. But that in itself is a is a big change, you know. That's why it's
Yeah.
going to take they say 18 months, 18 to 24 months to actually kind of figure out how that's done.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Any other questions? Questions. Us generally. Uh, I guess something else that was on the as well, just for us to discuss. Trevon, what's one of the major things that happened since
The Mayberry bun. You
no man,
spoke
we
about
talk
the.
about the Mayberry. We talk about
Um,
you bought Mayberry?
I tried to, but
We have a Mayberry man here.
you know,
Yeah.
I was kind of told on the phone that my money will not be, very. It's not why bother.
Oh, told on
Yeah.
the phone by an advisor
Yeah.
from Mayberry?
Yeah. I actually
Are
called
you
him.
tell him that?
No, it's not him. It's
Oh,
a young sounding fellow.
that's all. You sure the person never say, hey, I think that your money is probably below the minimum amount.
No. I had the minimum amount to
Oh wow.
invest. You know.
Yeah man, you can go ahead.
The name is Christopher A. Thomas, Investment Advisor with Mayberry Investment.
Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. I would have loved to hear the interaction really with yourself and the advisor. But as you know, we had 4 tranches with regard to the bond berry. 13 months, that's 1 year, 1 month, for 9.25%. 1.5 years for 10%. 2 years for 11%. And 3 years for 10%. The money. So, because then you have to have minimum, so everyone can,
No, but I mean, we can give it
take part in it. I'm not sure what amount you were trying to put in, but 20,000 was the minimum, right? So if once an advisor is speaking to you about it, then they should basically say, okay, if it's 20,000, this is the return you will get. But the Bunbury was an opportunity for you to, for investors to be a part of the investment process. Because opening your Mayberry account, right? If you were coming in through the bond, the account was not limited to the bond. You were getting the opportunity to open a Mayberry account with a minimum of $20,000. Understand this. Aside of this, the minimum amount to open a Mayberry account is $1 million. So you're getting the opportunity. So I am, to be honest with you, I'm a bit perturbed because this would tell me that you did not open a Mayberry account.
No, I didn't. I was actually by the.
Not only to take part in the Bunbury experience, but they have been sitting down, waiting for a very long time, cannot $1 million, and this is for them to open the Mayberry account. So many of them use it as an opportunity. I can tell you, even customers with me open with various amounts, but they said, listen, Mr. Thomas, Chris, you know, I've been sitting waiting to open an account for a long time. I am going to put X amount in the Bunbury, and then we put the balance in investment. So I'm really saddened to know that you did not get the opportunity to open a Mayberry account. And since it proves it's Friday, Monday gone, we're going back to. So it really robs you of an opportunity. And we will have to speak after to see how we can repair that and get you in. Because although it's $1 million, there are different ways of getting to open a Mayberry account, right, in under $1 million. And an IPO process is one of them. But we can speak after to see how.
Miss part of that. Him resolve your issue. Come in like when me hearing no Chris.
Sudden. This is an opportunity. Many customers, thousands.
Chris, are this the selling voice?
No.
Can you sell with the entire body? It close, you know, it close, Chris.
No, but I am saddened because this robs the young man of an opportunity to
But
open a Mayberry account. Because once a Mayberry account is open, as I was said earlier, the Bunbury IPO is not limited to the bond. Your Mayberry account, once it's open, it opens endless investment possibilities. Right? And now that you did not get to open the account, now that robs you of an opportunity. So we have to look on ways to sort that out and to solve. As I said, there are other ways we can look on open a Mayberry account without the $1 million minimum. And one of the ways, I can tell you one. For example, if you have a child, because the Mayberry family, we love family and we encourage family, and we know that once you have a child or children, then the amount of money you have, because you will have to be putting money aside for children and so on. So we look at that facility and we say, well, once you have a child or children who is on, right, you can put them on the account, and that will give you the opportunity of opening an account under the $1 million. And this is outside of Bunbury. This is the normal Mayberry process.
Alright, does it have to be my child?
Yes.
Oh. So it can be my nephew. Was that you?
Sorry, man. Yeah.
What kind of moderation this? Sorry, guys. So maybe Urban, we actually spoke about it already. Well, saying congratulations. It's closed. We in I'm interested to see. So let me just say that. I'm interested to see what happens next.
I know that is the question on many persons' minds, but
When is it going to list? When is it going to list and start trading and things like that?
we put out the basis of allocation and today it was so the basis of allocation for tranche 123 is on Jamaica Stock Exchange website. So as soon as we have tranche 4 to sort out, and once we sort that out, then we will list.
All right, thank you.
But
All right.
since I mentioned that,
Yeah,
I
man.
hate things hanging.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
why tranche 1, 2, and 3 have been started out and tranche 4 is not? Tranche 4 was 12%, 3 years. And
Was
that
not? Where's the transfer? Was not?
4, no, tranche 4 was 12%, 3 years.
Oh, you said something about not.
I said 3 instead of regarding to allocation.
Oh, transfer is instead out as it?
No,
Why?
And that's why I said I didn't want to leave things hanging. It was massively oversubscribed. So we now have to go through and
Do your reconciliation.
getting as much first in it as possible.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks again, everyone, for the discussion. So, this is the time for you to network online. As you say, you start network already. Choice team here. We have K here. I'm gonna charge you for that. But yeah, so I trouble, man. GK is always here. A couple of the guys are always here. So big up. I'm just go around and
Which one? One of these?
Meet the Twitter celebrities.
No,
Yeah, man.
celebrity.
No, you would right now the observer.
Twitter celebrity, you know, that finance celebrity.
Ah, you see that higher status.
I never.
Higher status.
I talk to Nigel and him thing, you know. You talk to Nigel? I'm sure we see you talk to Nigel.
Maybe not.
A picture with the signal CEO that.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Celebrity status.
You know, finance celebrity.
so one of these again.
When I go read out from my money, JA, how this other work? Production could use some work. I'll start there.
could do a setup.
No, I think they've improved, because at first there weren't any seats at all.
This thing has changed, bro.
I mean, I don't really care about the seats. I actually care about the production of how you go do the thing if you go have a live stream.
Yeah, that could be some work.
What, parking?
Depends on who's asking.
Yeah, but they weren't even shooting that shit. So they could do a good job. This is sponsored.
No, you're talking about. Look, there are too many agendas that play.
So when I say they're not doing a good job, I think that's fair. Fuck out of here.
Bradley, aren't you? Yes, man.
Hush on stairs with nobody in the. You don't have no. You got good people out here for cheap. You can do it right.
I'm here, yard a hole on the front trail. I'm saying, yeah, man, something simple.
I said you're comfortable with the mic, bro. All right, no, you have the mic.
I'll take the
Hot mic, you know. The mic on, you know. I know the man. I like you. I don't know if I like your approach, but I like the spirit.
I could be talking about anybody. There are so many groups out there. So many groups.
How about it, right? That's it,
This same can swim, man.
I'm totally against censorship for the.
I think if you
Against censorship? Take up my things. Take up my things.
I'm sorry.
I drink my elixir. Tell everybody what I tell you.
Dog, when is the AC for that man? On a real, when you go like when we gonna do the rule though? It's anytime. Well, I mean you flying out to Turks and Caicos, but when you return on a private jet.
DJs only, bro. DJs only. But I've come around here, you can't just start a regular roll like my friend.
Yeah.
I said, oh, calm down. I say, oh, bro, no, I'm dead serious. My body, I'm not fitting on regular plane.
Yeah, you need roomy.
Need some room, brother.
Room.
I get blue tomorrow, man. I say, I'm already vexed. I'm going to buy this speed, I'm buy this space, and I'm going to build this space. I get it. PG life is fun. but it's a